There's Revano. Comes in at 16-7. It's a pretty good mark for Revano. Blake Saito, a guy that has wrestling at a very high level, according to coach.
Yeah, Blake Sato's a guy who he can start quick. A lot of his matches he gets first takedown. So we'll see if he keeps that going. But actually, it's Revano who's in on a leg.
And there's the control. There's the takedown, and very close to rolling Saito to his back.
Yeah, that was good chain wrestling by Revano. He's kind of in on a single leg. Saito got off it. It was cut right to a double leg. Let's see if Penn keeps the trend of riding the guy super hard right at first period going.
Out of bounds. Blake's been a stable part of this lineup, according to Coach Lean, but you saw Revano pull right in. Revano, a consistent starter at 157. He actually, against Iowa, wrestled at 165, went up a weight class last time out for Penn, and took on the 6th-ranked wrestler in the land at that weight class, Michael Caliendo.
Yeah, Penn had wrestled Iowa really, really good. They had a couple really close matches against some good guys, and they even had a couple matches where they got major decisions and pins, and they wrestled Iowa real good, and I think it had a really good environment over there at University of Pennsylvania.
And we got a win at 174 and 184. I'd imagine that 174 match, Contreras and Kennedy, I'd imagine that was a good one.
Yeah, that Contreras, he's looking really good this year. We'll see if he keeps it going for the rest of the year.
I know he's got his eyes on tomorrow's match. I think Harvard's wrestler at 74 is, I think, also ranked in the top 10.
Yeah,
it's a good weight class in the East.
It is a good weight class for Ivy League.
Cornell's 74 is also a top 10 guy.
Yeah, Cornell's pretty loaded from top to bottom. Revano gets another takedown, 2 takedowns in the first period.
Yeah, watch his control here to just take Saito. First takes him down, then pulls him out. And for a second there, I thought I was crazy. I heard music in the background. It's not me.
Yeah, I think they have some background music going on. Probably a good thing. Kind of takes the silence out of the crowd.
It's a pretty quiet crowd here today. There's a good crowd in the stands, but not the loudest bunch.
Yeah, I mean, Brown's getting beat up a little bit. I think that has something to do with it. But Revano in on a single leg again.
3 takedowns in the first period would be quite a mark for Lucas.
Yeah,
tried for the trip takedown, and still nothing.
Yep,
there it is.
Locked the cradle up there.
Saw that left leg came swirling around. There's a look at the crowd.
Yeah.
Looks of concern on the Brown fans' faces.
Which is understandable right now.
Yeah, 9-2 with a short time here in the first period. We're 4 matches in. Quakers leading 11-0 after a decision and a couple major decisions.
3 takedowns in the first period. That's a good way to start if you're Revano. This is a big. That's a big escape for Saito. Ending the period with an escape is always the best way to do it.
As the first period comes to a close, it'll be 9-3 in favor of Lucas Revano. And Revano, again in the East, 4 wins against 2 losses, 3-0 against Ivy opponents. But in his 23 matches, 8 of them have been against top 25 competitors. He has had a pretty tough start to his season. Yeah,
it's crazy how that happens. Some guys just kind of go through the ringer back to back to back, but it seems to benefit him in the long run.
Yeah, the dual meets for Penn have been against Iowa, Rutgers, North Carolina, Lehigh, Stanford, Columbia, They've had a few open tournaments. They won the Keystone Classic back on November the 19th. Pennsylvania's a pretty good state for wrestling.
That it is. I grew up in Western Pennsylvania, and I know Mickey Philippi, director of ops. Joy and Lean was at University of Pittsburgh for a couple years, so there's a Pennsylvania connection even here at Brown.
Our director is a Pittsburgh native. My wife's family is actually originally Pittsburgh folks. A reversal there for Revano.
Yeah, it's a good area for wrestling, but I mean, I'm biased, but it's a good area in general.
Now, you say Western Pennsylvania. There's like the Erie part of Western Pennsylvania, and then there's the Pittsburgh part of Western Pennsylvania. Are you somewhere in the middle?
Yeah, so I classify as Pittsburgh, but I'm a little bit west, more towards State College.
Okay.
Probably less than an hour away from Penn State University.
My wife's family is in Conneaut Lake now, out near Meadville, I think.
Okay,
and I forget the college her uncle wrestled at, but it was a small place out there. Linesboro, maybe? Is that a real place?
Okay, that sounds familiar. Meadsville, that was actually Spencer Lee's first, that's his first school, believe it or not, before he moved around a little bit.
Yeah, there are some states that when you mention the sport of wrestling, they immediately come to mind. Pennsylvania being one of them. The University of Pennsylvania here, the Quakers.
Yeah, they've had a historic program. They had some guys win some national titles. That Brandon Slay, who is the RTC coach over at Penn. He was an Olympic champ. Wrestled for the Quakers. Penn's doing a really good job with their RTC program.
Blake Saito finding himself down 7. Although the riding time not a factor, believe it or not, at this point. There's just been a lot of quick takedowns, escapes, and back to scrambles. But now that's problematic.
It's a good scramble. Saito might end up on top. Oh.
And
what looked like Revano was going to take Saito with a takedown to his back. Saito actually scrambled and almost got the takedown for himself.
Roger Reyna stood up and was looking for near fall points. They didn't come.
Yeah, I don't think they gave him the takedown, did they?
I don't know if they did.
No, I think Saito actually scrambled out of it. It's kind of similar to the situation last night with the Penn State-Ohio State match at 125. That's right. That Vinny Kilcarry, another Western Pennsylvania guy, he threw a guy to his back, and they didn't even really give him a takedown, but they kind of swiping for the guy was on his back, but weird situation, kind of like the one we just saw right there. And another quick escape for Blake Saito. He's doing a very good job on bottom compared to the first couple guys we watched.
No, an 11-5 is actually still very much in play for Saito.
Yeah, with a 3-point takedown.
He could sure make this interesting.
He could. It seems like his foot's on the gas right now. Revano's slowing down a little bit. Let's see if he can actually use his pace, though, to get to a takedown. And just like when I say that, Revano's backing on a leg and gets a quick finish for a takedown.
Yeah, and another quick escape.
Another quick escape. That's... For having as many takedowns as Revano does, he has less than a minute riding time.
Yeah, he's had 4 takedowns.
4 takedowns with less than a minute riding time is, without Blake Saito even riding very much, is pretty nuts.
You got to wonder what the strategy was from the Penn coaching staff with Revano, if they were looking to execute different sort of takedown maneuvers and try for a pin and maybe not riding to the extent that we saw the earlier wrestlers do, because the first 3 matches, the riding time was well up and over 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 2-3 minutes at least.
A lot of those game plans go out the window, too, and it hits later in the match. And Revano on the leg, and he kind of goes for the cow catcher there. Blake Saito on the edge in a front headlock. No points. Blake Saito, he's really pushing the pace right now, but it doesn't really mean much when you're not scoring points.
I think the best you can hope for is perhaps a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. And just another takedown by Revano.
He's up to 17 points.
I think he will end up with the riding time as well.
That's going to be locked in barring an escape, another quick escape. But this time you could see Revano belly to back, not really giving Saito a lot to work with. He's made an adjustment to whatever Saito was doing to escape earlier in this match.
Yeah, Saito was doing a good job the first two periods, not being on his belly like the wrestlers prior, but he ended up there as well.
And that's going to be a solid win for Lucas Revano. Gets the point for the riding time, and it will be going the books as an 18-6 victory for Revano. And that'll bring the Penn Quakers to a 15-0 team lead. That'll take us to another timeout on the mat with 165 and 174 on the other side of this break from here at the pits. Penn Quakers in control. We'll step aside. This is the Ivy League on ESPN.